Back again, guys. So we tried to do this yesterday, but we have a baby now. Okay, so that's made things a little bit complicated. He decided that it was not the right time for us to film yesterday. So we're doing this again. But today we're finally doing a full gym breakdown. We're going through every little nook and cranny in here. I've got a bunch of hidden pieces of gym equipment, like an Easter egg hunt, all over this apartment, okay? Because that's how it has to be in this small ass 950-ish square foot apartment, okay? We're gonna get a couple of takeaways from this, okay? One, you're gonna get some little tips on like what actually matters for having a gym in a small space, how you can actually fit way more gym equipment than you think in a small space. Do not think that you have to have a garage to have a home gym. That's just not true, okay? I've been working out in the apartment for 8 years now. I have not set foot in a public gym. And I don't know. I know I don't look like much of a Greek god or anything, but I feel like for the lifestyle we live, I've kept pretty good gains. I've made pretty good gains without ever having to go back into a freaking public gym. We're not sociable people. We can't really be seen out and about, or we're going to get into some kind of fight. So look, before we get into this, okay, like I said before, you're don't let people tell you that you can't have a home gym. You can. You can have a home gym literally anywhere you have a home, anywhere you are sleeping. You've got enough room to have some kind of a gym. Okay, it doesn't need to be anything crazy. You will figure it out as you go along. But better to have a gym than no gym, in my opinion. You will save so much time. We estimated earlier that if we just assumed on the low end for 5 days a week, there's about 30 minutes of travel, maybe 15 minutes to the gym, 15 minutes back. If you're just saving 30 minutes a day for 5 days a week, for 8 years we've been doing this, on the low end we've saved at least 43 days total of cutting out commute just from the gym. So yeah, for us it's just like a no-brainer. I want that time. Time to me is everything. I'm not giving up my time to waste it in traffic or to waste it waiting on equipment or anything like that. It's just not worth it to me, okay? And this goes along the lines of do this with everything in your life, okay? We had our literal baby. He's behind the camera right now. He's helping hold the camera. He's already smart enough to be able to do that. Takes after his dad. But we even had our baby we had him born in our 1-bedroom, 950 square foot apartment, okay? We're intelligent people. We did the work we needed to. We got a midwife. We did our research. We made sure he was healthy. We made sure my wife was healthy. And you know what? We had him right here in this apartment, right next to the squat rack. Okay? So, and you know what? It's probably going to affect his gains for the rest of his life. I bet you I'm going to have probably one of the most jacked babies. Because how many babies do you know have been born within eyeshot of the squat rack? I don't think he's probably the only one in the whole Midwest. Okay? So anyways, we'll start getting into it. It might be kind of a long and nitty-gritty video. I might be all over the place. We're going to get through it because another thing, we're probably going to be moving soon. So I kind of this was kind of the apex of apartment gyms for me. I'm hoping we'll be going to a house soon. And then we'll have to forever leave behind the apartment gym saga. Okay? So I kind of wanted to memorialize it here. This is kind of its final form that I've had in this apartment. So, let me get our coffee here. Let's get right into it, okay? So, I've sold some bars here and there, some barbells here and there, but right now, as it stands, I have 11 barbells total. Technically 12 if you count this little, I've got the Rogue shoulder rock bar, whatever. I never use that thing, so I don't even count it. I've got 11 bars here. I've estimated about 5 bars I have in regular rotation, okay? So I've had this barbell holder. You see, this is a Rep Fitness 9-bar barbell holder. I've had this since the very beginning of the home gym in my first apartment. It was just the cheapest option I could find. I feel like, I haven't looked at all the prices in a while, but I feel like that's probably still pretty good cheap 9-bar holder, nothing fancy. I've never had any issues with feeling like it was going to tip on me, even if I only had 1 bar in there. Super great option. And yeah, I've got it completely filled up right now. Sometimes you have to be a little bit creative on, where you order, the ordering you have of the bars based on, because you're not going to be able to access a lot of this stuff in the back as easily. So that's why I've got like this York barbell and the trap bar. I don't really use those that often. The stuff I use more often I put towards the front, okay? So we've already done a video on some of these, but we'll just go over these real quick. This is the chest bar, the Rogue MG4CN. Absolute beast of a bar. I'm going to be keeping this forever. Got it right here in the corner, so it's easy to access. And then we have the X-Mark Easy Curl Bar. This is a classic. The reason why this is so good is because it's just your standard Easy Curl Bar. And it's only like $85. It might be a little bit more now. When I got it, it was like $85. Got it shipped to my door. The thing has been amazing. I have hardly any rusting on it.
Take it out of there. We can't see it.
And I use it like I use this thing like every arm day especially. I'm using this all the time. I've never had any issues with it. $85, you can just absolutely not beat this. So I've had this since the beginning as well. I think the 2 bars I started out with, I don't have my OG bar. That was stupid of me to get rid of, but I got rid of the OG bar just because it was such crap. I got it from like Played Against Sports or something for like $50. But the ones I've had since the beginning are this Easy Curl Bar from X-Mark. Right here we've got the Rogue Ohio Power Bar. I've had that forever. And then I have another Rogue, just Ohio bar tucked in the back. That's kind of dinged up. I've had that since the beginning as well too. So a couple other bars in here. We do use the Bella bar for a lot of stuff as well. My wife likes this. I even like it for certain movements. And then of course we've got the rackable Rogue Curl Bar. You got to have that thing. I don't use it as much as I probably should, but for some reason at the time I was like, I just can't have a home gym without a full-size rackable curl bar that I can barely fit in the apartment. And yeah, I never looked back. So yeah, and then we have a trap bar. Like I said, this is the Bells of Steel trap bar. Honestly, thought I would use it. Thought I would try it out. That's why I went cheap with it was because I wasn't even sure I would use a trap bar, and it's just a little bit too awkward to use in the apartment gym. So I don't really use it that much. So now it's just kind of sitting there in the back. And then right here we have. I had to look up the name of this. I just saw this. They're pretty cheap. I think I got this for like $100 or $150. I'm not even gonna get it out, but we'll pull up a picture of it too. It's the old school York by Try trap bar. Okay, it's just kind of a weird, funky looking bar. I like to do some tricep movements on, and it's cheap, and it's just kind of there's just nothing like it. So I just feel like it's a fun piece of equipment. That I just like to bang out some, interesting arm movements every once in a while, mostly tricep stuff. And yeah, just kind of throw it in there. So yeah, that's the bars. We will look at some other bars that are stored in other areas of the gym. You can kind of see it right here. I've talked about this before. I do have the Duffalo bar. I absolutely love the Duffalo bar, but like I've said before, it's so dang long. There's just really no way to actually use it in this apartment. Like sometimes I'll bust it out for squats and bench press, but it's just kind of a pain in the ass in here. So, but I'm not getting rid of it because to me it's just such a great bar. I just don't want. I've already spent the money. I'm keeping it. I'm gonna have that forever. And then in the back you can see this one I definitely don't use because I don't really have a huge need for it. But let me get this. I'm not the one using this yoga ball. This is for female stuff. We've got I had to look this up too because I don't think they make it anymore, or they're really hard to come by. What's this? The Reps Direct football bar. This is a classic bar. Back in the day, this was like the only multi-grip bar, like of any quality. And so this is actually one of the first bars I got too that was like a multi-grip type of bar. But then as soon as I got that, the Rep and Kabuki and Rogue started coming out with a bunch of multi-grip bars, and I just Haven't used it that much. But it's just kind of a unique bar. I like it. I'm going to keep it forever.
Didn't you used to have that rigged up where you used it for pull-ups before you had the...
Yes, actually, that is true. I think, yeah, back in the first apartment, I posted that way up on the top of the squat rack, and I didn't have a pull-up bar, and I would use it as like a multi-grip pull-up bar. So, you know, get a little bit creative that way. Okay, we'll zoom into this real quick while we're here. This is the dumbbells I used to use. Everybody has seen these if you've been around long enough. The Iron Master quick change is what they used to be. But they're not very quick, and that's why they're kind of sitting here collecting dust now. At the time, these were awesome. I mean, only dumbbell that would go to 120 pounds that was like solid, okay? Like you didn't have to worry about anything. Yeah, I mean, back in the day, this was like, I loved this. This was badass, but they're just really, you know, it's just kind of slow to change the weights. So now I just kind of I leave them on, you know, a heavy weight and kind of just use them as a fixed dumbbell. I rarely change them. I've got the other one around here somewhere, but good dumbbell for the time. But frankly, there's just better options now. And now I would just 100% always suggest getting the quick change dumbbells. The manufacturing has come a long way, and they're just a lot cheaper. Okay, on to the Frankenstein Storage Rack. This is pivotal. It might look like it's kind of, you know, there's a TV in there. What's going on? Why is the PS5 on there? Before I ordered all of this, I knew exactly how we were going to set it up, and there's a reason why it's set up this way. And the philosophy is, as you start to kind of collect and get more stuff for your home gym, you're going to have a storage system, okay? Eventually, it's going to expand across, you know, you're not going to be able to fit it all in a corner or all on the rack for storage. You're going to need a little bit of organization. I went cheap, and it worked for a long time. I used some Titan mass storage system, but I ultimately outgrew that, and it did become unstable. I had too much weight on there. It was getting quite full, and I had to upgrade, okay? So you got to kind of be creative with the space when you're in an apartment like this. And so I was thinking, you know, what was the area of the house, area of the apartment that kind of was just, you know, taking up, the space wasn't being utilized properly. And everywhere I look around, even in homes, it's always the TV. The TV is always just sitting up either on the wall or on a TV console next to the wall. And it's just taking up so much dang space for no reason. It's just the TV. And so I was like, okay, why don't I just get a storage system that I can put the TV in, either like, you know, that I could put a TV into the storage system, and then I could have the weights all around it. And it worked out perfectly. There weren't as many options when I was doing it. I feel like you could probably do this cheaper now, and you could probably do this with a little bit more uniformity. But back then, I had, there was only really one place to get very sturdy, long, like 70-inch shelves, and that was Fray Fitness. Fray Fitness is out of business now, so you cannot get these. But I'm pretty sure Rep and Rogue has long shelves now you can get for cheap. I don't know. I haven't looked in a while. But I do know that Fray Fitness is no longer in business. And when I got these, I think they were like closing out. So I got a pretty good deal on them. I remember that. So what I decided to do is we've got the 80-inch Rep PR 5000 uprights, the 3x3 80 inches, 1-inch holes. So I figured also, you know, when I move eventually, if I don't need this storage system anymore, we can take apart the uprights and make like a little squat rack if we want to add a second squat rack or something like that. So that's kind of the bones of it. Fray Fitness shelves, 70-inch shelves, PR 5000 uprights, and then I got some of these Rogue. You can see better over here. The Rogue, these are some Rogue feet I got at a garage sale, and they fit fine. I really wanted those because even though I don't think this would be going anywhere without the feet, with the feet, I mean, there's just absolutely no way you're moving this thing. And with all the weight we've got on here, You know, for me, I wanted that extra peace of mind that this thing is not just going to kill me in the middle of the night or something, you know. Okay, so now that we've kind of gone through the meat and the bones of what makes up the storage system, let's go into what's on it. So start down here. Don't use these as much as I use these more in the summer. This is when we can kind of open the doors and, you know, kind of just be loud and hunk around in here. But we've just got a couple of sandbags. I think we've got this is a 100-pound sandbag from Rogue and an 80-pounder. Yeah, I use those semi-regularly. Honestly, I wish I used sandbags more. I think sandbags are super underrated. Whenever we get more room, I'm going to be getting more sandbags. Kettlebells, obviously. There's kettlebells up and down this rack. We put the heavier ones on the bottom. The Kabuki Kyubells, love those things. I get those out of there all the time and use them. And then, yeah, we've got... I'm getting rid of it. I didn't use it as much as I thought I would. I'm just storing right here the arms for the that Rogue Velociraptor dip attachment. Just didn't really end up using it as much as I thought. So yeah, I'm going to be getting rid of that. I'm going to sell that here soon. Just wasn't, maybe I'm just not a dip guy. I don't know. Just kind of a waste of money for me. We've also got the Rogue T-bar landmine attachment. Use that all the time. Love that thing. It's been around forever. Classic. I've got extra mat here. These are the same. This is the same mat I've got in the second room in the dining room turned gym. Those are just Tractor Supply mats. We're going to talk a little bit about those. You know, I think people shit on the Tractor Supply mats. I don't know. Some people love them. Some people hate them. There is a smell for like 2 days. I've heard the complaint about that. There's like a crazy rubber smell if they haven't been left outside or if they're brand new when you buy them. There is a rubber smell, but it goes away after like 2 days. So I just left them outside for a couple of days when I first got them, and then they were fine. And they've been awesome. We love these things. I've had the same ones forever. I bought a few extra when we moved into this apartment, and they're just the perfect cheap matting for the gym. I think they look good. They're easy. They're honestly really easy to cut to size, and you'll see we cut them to size in the gym over there. Yeah, I just took a box cutter, and it was super easy to trim them down. And yeah, so I'm going to be getting more of those when we move. I'm just going to get the same ones. So yeah, on the first shelf, look, there's nothing really crazy on here. We've just got an assortment of the Kabuki Kyubells, some sandbags, Rogue kettlebells, Thompson fat bells, Sorinex center mass bells. Honestly, I got both kind just because I wanted to see the difference. The Sorinex ones seem to be a lot higher quality, but they both do the job. And you can kind of see the hand. Let me put this down real quick. The handles in the center mass bells, they're a little bit thinner than in the Rogue fat bells. The thing I like about the center mass bells though is that they're open on both sides. So the Rogues, after you get above the weight of I think 18 pounds, they're closed on the bottom. And maybe you like that, maybe you don't. It just kind of depends on your use case. But if I remember right, on all of the center mass bells, they're open-ended on both sides. And I kind of like that. So just something to think about. We use, everything I have on here, we pretty much use regularly. So yeah, and then up top, just some general knickknacks. Got some bar storage. You've probably seen these. This is actually the Draco, I think it's Draco, barbell storage. And you're usually supposed to put these like at the top of a squat rack and hang them the other way. But I wanted to get them, and they don't really fit on my rack. There's not really enough room. So I ended up just putting them sideways, and then we just hold one barbell up there like that. Not a big deal. So yeah, the wife's got some yoga crap, and we got our handy dandy blood pressure cuff. yoga blocks, things like that. So anyways, don't want to overdo it. It's not that deep.
What about those Sornex things back there?
These, oh, I actually really like these. These are the Sornex Recon rings. Really good for overhead tricep extensions. I love hooking these up to the cable machine. And yeah, they're kind of unique. I saw somebody using them on YouTube one time, and they're pretty cheap, and I got them, and I use them like every arm day now for tricep extensions. But yeah, look, the good thing about the Frankenstein rack too, using a 3x3 upright, is you can kind of see on the sides, we got holes to hang all kinds of extra stuff. We're able to hold the bands. We're able to put the J cups on to hold the barbells. I'm hanging some extra equipment back here. I've got like a Stray Dog strength arm back here that I thought I would use, but I never use. So now it's just hanging out back here. So yeah. All right, let's move from the weight storage to the other piece of weight storage that kind of it stores weight, but like the rest of the philosophy in here, I wanted it needed to be storage for other things than just gym stuff. So I'm actually pretty sure I paid off pretty much this whole thing with Home Depot gift cards from credit card points. So I'm sure that these are way more expensive than they used to be. When I got this like 3-4 years ago, I want to say it was like maybe between $800 and $1,000. It was something like that, which I don't think is that bad for this kind of a toolbox. I'm pretty sure it's 61 inches. I don't know if you can get this anymore. Absolutely love this thing. It's got wheels. It looks good. It's heavy duty. Holds a lot of heavy gym equipment. So I think having these Husky toolboxes are like awesome for just storage in general. I think they look good. You can put them in your apartment. They don't just need to go in a garage. Super useful. So anyways.
They usually have good like outlets too.
Yes. So I mean, a big one we've got here. In this drawer, there's a bunch of outlets. I'm charging my vacuum underneath. We're always charging something like phones or cameras or whatever it is. And there's a bunch of storage in there. On the bottom shelf, I actually store right now, since we had the baby and we're a little bit tight on room, I've got the full, I've got 80-pound Pepin dumbbells in here. Now, it probably is pushing the weight limit on this drawer. Like, I feel like, it feels a little sketchy to me. So this is 120 pounds it's holding right now. It's holding it fine, but every time I'm getting the weight in and out, I'm a little bit careful not to slam it down, just in case it falls on my toe, breaks my feet in half, and then I'm out of commission for 3 years. So yeah, I store that in there. We've got the handy cup in here for a lot of stuff that we do in here. And then, of course, fat grips. I'm a big proponent of the fat grips. Who wouldn't be? They're cheap. So yeah, we store the dumbbells in there. And then, let's see what else we got here. Just some extra collars. Some of the micro weights for the Pepin dumbbell. A couple of 1-pounders, 2.5-pounders. Something I use a lot in here would be the Barbells slingshot tricep push down. This thing feels really good warming up the elbows. I'm not even that old, and I feel like my elbows, you just got to really warm it up. You got to warm them up for tricep stuff, or I feel like I'm going to snap my shit. Use this all the time. Versa grips, and then some cheap just Harbinger straps. So yeah, that's what we got in there. Nothing crazy. And then this is just kind of the junk drawer we use for all types of gym stuff. We'll talk some about this here in a minute. We'll actually do a mini breakdown of these once we go into this part of the gym. But this is the Rogue Echo Vest. I've got 2 of these actually. And this is I think it's Kenzai EZ Vest. and it's plate loaded. You can see it's got a way to put on your actual plates onto the vest. And you can put them on front too, but I've removed it for a reason we'll talk about here in a second. So yeah, squat harness. I was gonna do a video on the squat harness. Maybe we will someday. I used it a lot for a while. It's a good piece of equipment. You can really hammer the legs well if you're creative with the squat harness, but it's just kind of annoying to get out sometimes. So I haven't done it in a little while, but there was a period of a few months where I probably used it every leg day, and I felt like it was pretty good. And it's cheap. I think it's like 180 bucks. Iron neck, and yeah, just some kind of mag attachments, the classic. I don't know why I picked this up. My wife hates this. She always feels like I'm about ready to drop it onto my, nut sack or something. But just a little grip attachment. All right, well, and then you can also stock it with your guns if you want. We got the John Wick drawer in here, ready to go, and we store miscellaneous. We've got the lubrication. That's for the cable machine. Keep that thing nice and lubed, and then just some random bolts, attachments. This is something to measure your eyes with. What do you call that? But yeah, I never have to go to the eye doctor again, because now they can. I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole, but just some little knickknacks here and there. It's a little messy right now. We want to kind of keep things how they really are in the apartment. Great storage system, okay? Okay, so we'll just go over the weight vests while we're here real quick. I've got 2 of the Rogue Echo vests. I like these things. They're a little expensive. They're definitely not cheap, but they fit very well. They're just easy to just throw on. Now, changing the weights feel very secure while they're in there. But changing the weights, is a little bit cumbersome, and I feel like it's like that on pretty much any weight vest. It's just a little bit annoying. Not a huge deal, though. The second vest I use just as often, and I think if you were only going to get one vest, I would get this vest because it's the most versatile, and it's very comfortable. I would get the Kenzu Easy Vest. And by the way, we'll put everything, I'll have all the products in the description below. Not sponsored or anything, just for ease of use. The good thing about this, I don't have it on right now, but you can see the back post I have on there. You can get these longer too. You can put all of your weights, screw them onto here on the front and on the back. I'll just put it on real quick. And it's adjustable. You'll be able to fit it to your body size. It's secure. The reason I like these particularly, I took out the post on the front, and then I'll put the weights on the back, and then I'll do weighted push-ups. And I'll use them with the rings a lot, and I'll do very deep stretch push-ups with the weight on the back. You can really load it up on the back. Absolutely love it. This is like a pretty cheap option. If I was going to get a weighted vest, I don't really see people talking about this one. If I was only going to get one, I would get this one 100%. But anyways, with the Rogue Echo Vest, not that bad. Honestly, maybe I'll put them on real quick because you can see, so this is the small version. So if you just want to see what the difference is. So the only difference in the sizing, and I'm sure it says this on the website too, but it's just this strap. There's no sizing difference on the chest plate. The shoulder straps are just as adjustable on every single version. The only difference is going to be how long these are. So this is the small version. It's pretty snug. It's usually hanging right out on the edge with me when I use it. And I think we've got 10-pound plates in this right now on each side. And then the black one is the medium version. This is the medium size. And you can just see if you got a bigger belly, you got plenty of room to get that thing secure on there. These are nice just because, they're, you can just run around in these, you can do whatever you want. They're really stable. You can hit your pull-ups very easily. I just wanted to show off to the wife and to the baby, out-mog the baby for a second. No big deal. So the wall control, we'll break this down real quick. Everything I put the stuff I use the most attachment wise on here, mainly. So real quick, rep, lat pull down, rep, thingamajig, I forget the name of that, and rep, just handle. Use these semi-regularly. I love the Prime Fitness handles as well. They're kind of expensive, but they're great. The Rogue magnetic collars, love those just because they're convenient. The Prime Fitness CAS handles, these are classics. I don't even need to rave about these. Everybody knows that these are high quality. They're fun to use, they feel good. American Barbell tricep push down. Now, I saw that a bunch of other companies have come out with stuff like this. Back in the day, this was like really the only one I could get that was this style, this rotating handle style. But I think you can get them cheaper now on other companies. So I'd probably do that. But they're super high quality from American Barbell. And then just a little, I was getting into some grip stuff a while back. We called this the horse handle. I don't know why, but
It looks like a stirrup.
yeah, it kind of does. JD Gym Equipped. He's like I think this guy kind of has his own shop out of his garage or something. His stuff is really expensive, but really nice. And he has like his own little shop. So if you've got the money, I think he's got a lot of cool equipment that whenever I do get the money, I'm going to be buying. But I just don't have the money. But yeah, I like this handle. Do some grip stuff with it sometimes. And then yeah, wall control, obviously. Wall control is great for the gym stuff. We all know why.
You didn't say the circle one.
Oh, the circle one, I had to look this up. So the circle one, let me find this on here. Okay. Yeah, this is also a Troy VTX Supra. It's got the rotating handles. We'll take it off real quick. This is just kind of a unique piece. I use it semi-regularly I only ever use it for tricep pushdowns. But it's just a really cool piece of equipment. You don't really see as much stuff like this. At least you didn't used to. I've probably had this for 4 or 5 years. But anyways. So, of course, we've got the air filter, guys. You got to filter your air, especially if you've got a baby who's stinking it up all the time in the apartment, or otherwise you're going to smell like poop all the time. So, okay, let's talk a little bit about the centerpiece of the gym. Okay, so this is the Rep PR 5000, the 80-inch version. I've got the 6-post rack. Look, I know that there's different philosophies on, small space. Maybe I want like a foldable rack. Maybe I just want like a 2-post. I would have 6 of these strung together if I could. If I had the money, I'd have 3 of these all strung together, monkey bar style, going all the way to the end of the hallway here, and all the way into the living room. But I don't have the money for that, but I just like the squat racks, okay? I want a big squat rack. I want a big power rack. I don't care if it takes up if it impedes on the space a little bit. It's been great for everything I want to do. Another reason we went with this was to get the integrated cable machine. Guys, if you're gonna get a squat rack nowadays, I'm gonna be honest, just get one that has an integrated cable rack. You're not going to regret it. You're going to want the integrated cable rack. The footprint saving is massive. Spend the extra money. And look, I remember when I was first getting into the home gym stuff, my first rack, they didn't have any integrated cable machines. So I had a separate cable machine. And I remember like the big debate back then was like who even needs a cable machine? They're overrated. You want a cable machine in your home gym. So look, guys, just be a little creative. What we've got here, I've got what we actually did for the storage, because there wasn't a lot of side-to-side room. Not only do I like the look of the front-facing storage, it's just also the most accessible for me. Because all of my benching is done from here down. And the weights, I'm telling you, it looks like things wouldn't work back here. I never really run into anything. I think I just set it up the right way where all my movements, they clear everything around here. But yeah, so we've got the PR posts for on the ends here, and then I actually put I also got these at a garage sale. These are the Rogue panels. They fit. I do remember kind of having to finagle them around a little bit with the bolts, but they fit just fine. And yeah, so we store the weights. I like the 1-inch holes, like I said, because then we can just use pins and store all types of stuff. I've got some hooks on the back where we hang some equipment as well. Even some of the equipment is out of sight hanging in the back that I don't use that much. And then this is just, I was trying out some rice bucket stuff, and I just hate the look of the nasty fish buckets everybody uses. So I just hate the look of those nasty like plastic buckets. So that's just an Amazon aluminum rice bucket, nothing crazy in there. So yeah, we got a pin here. Use that semi-regularly. Right now it's just like storing some weights, and I love using this for tricep push downs. That's why I've got the fat grips on there permanently. This is where we store some of the big stuff. We've done a video on this. Rogue Pritchett pad sits right here. Absolutely love that thing. We've got our leg extension and hamstring curl that goes to the Iron Master bench. Store that there. The stump bar.
We also have a seat for the Iron Master bench.
We do. We have the seat. You probably saw it on the Frankenstein Storage. But yeah, and then we just store a bar on the side here, the stump bar. And yeah, one thing I do want to talk about, I use a lot. I particularly use these all the time. I love these things. These are rapid rings. I feel like these are, I don't remember how much I spent, but I remember they weren't like super cheap. But the rapid rings, I love these things, man. Even though I mostly just use them for push-ups, I use them for some back movements. I just love being, especially with, I don't have the room to just have like a fixed pair of rings in a push-up position all the time. I just throw these on the rack real quick whenever I want to do my push-ups or my rows, my back rows, and I just put them into place real quick. And then when I'm done, just fold them up and then store them away. Yeah, if you need any type of adjustability to your rings, or you just don't want to have like 2 or 3 sets of rings in a fixed position and constantly manually adjusting them all the time, I'd get the rapid rings. I love these things. Totally worth it to me. I'm never going to get rid of them. We got the Prime Fitness frog legs back here. I don't know if that's the real name or not, but we call them the frog legs. I love these. My wife even uses these for tricep push downs. That's mainly what we use them for. Keep those there. Love them. We got some Rogue metal plates, iron plates here. And then in the back, we've got some of those, they're called like cowbell plates. They're really expensive. I just kind of wanted to try them out for the novelty of it. These are the 25-pound plates, and I use them sometimes. If I had a shitload of money and a shitload of room, I'd probably have like the full set, because I just think it's interesting. But there's really no reason to get them, okay? Because just get a regular cheap pair of weights. Real quick, the mirrors. So you don't need to get any fancy gym mirrors for your gym. These are from Lowe's. Somehow the size just worked out perfectly for this wall, where it just fit perfectly flush. I don't remember the size, but I just got them from Lowe's. They're like $40 a piece, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I looked into getting some like custom mirrors, and the price is insane. So just go to Lowe's, get a couple of mirrors. If you have to have a couple of these and they have a seam, I really don't think you're gonna care. But you definitely want to have mirrors. That's a must in the gym. You got to see yourself with your pump. Even if you have a garage, I don't necessarily say you should immediately put your gym in the garage. So there's a couple of things. If your garage is climate controlled, that's nice, because I do see a lot of times where if you put, your gym equipment in a garage that doesn't have any type of climate control, you're going to get some rusting. You're definitely going to get a lot more wear and tear to the equipment. Might not be a huge deal for everybody. It's usually just mostly cosmetic, so that's not a massive deal. For me though, even when we do plan on moving soon, I'm not completely sold on putting the garage, at least all of the gym in the garage. I think there is something to say about, first of all, I think a gym, if you do it right, is quite aesthetic. I think it looks pretty good in a living room or in an extra room that you have kind of in the main space. Another thing about it too is, it's sometimes even just being removed into the basement or into the garage. Like, I still want it to be like, a family space where, I can still be with family who's on the couch or in the kitchen cooking, and we're still right there. We're talking, I'm working out, we're able to, kind of still have those family moments and not just be isolated at the gym. Now, there are times where I do want to just be isolated in the gym, though. And so, if I had that option, I probably would have some equipment in a garage. And sometimes when I'm in here, I just put the headphones on and scream and don't let anybody talk to me. So, I mean, it's just an idea to maybe, when you're thinking about where you're going to put your gym, just think a little bit differently about it. Maybe it doesn't have to be in the basement. Maybe it doesn't have to be in the garage. Maybe you can put it in an extra room in the living space, or you can have it scattered throughout both or all three. But yeah, when we move, we'll see what we do. Maybe I'll keep it in the living room. I've kind of grown fond of having it close by. And me personally, you know, I think it looks good. I got a lot of shit when I first did it. When home gyms were first coming around, people were kind of like, there's no fucking way you're putting a home gym in your apartment. And then when I did it, and people would come over to work out or hang out and see the place, everybody was always like, oh wow, like this seems normal and I love this. This makes total sense. So just do it. That's all. If you want it, just do it. And if you want to have the baby in your apartment, just have the baby in your apartment. We did it. You'll be fine. People have been having babies at home forever, okay? Just make sure you're healthy and you're a good candidate for it, for low intervention, and have your baby at home, okay? So that was probably long-winded. I know, I kind of rushed through it here and there. I got the baby now, okay? The videos like this probably going to be less common, but I am still trying to work on pushing out more videos, more content. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But thank you for sticking with it, guys. Probably say farewell to this gym. I don't know how much longer we're going to be here.
Are you going to miss it?
I am going to miss it. Who knows though? We might be here another year, but I'm thinking we'll either be out here in a few months or we'll be here another year or two. Okay, so I'm not. It will eventually go away soon though. But yeah, we'll. Thanks again, guys, and yeah, that's it.